What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. It is Wednesday, and we're going to do Wisdom of the Ages from Dr. Wayne Dyer. We're, partway through the book. I've skipped a few chapters here and there, but like I said, Wednesday, let's do some wisdom. It's always, you don't always feel it. And so to have things like this to come back to go through, can really, take you sometimes out of those mind slumps that we can get into sometimes. And his secondary title for this Wisdom of the Ages is 60 Days to Enlightenment. I always found that funny. That's kind of why I left it out. But these are extremely enlightening little passages. Today's is Truth and Beauty. And the person that's focused on is John Keats. From 1795 to 1821, probably the most talented of the English Romantic poets, John Keats gave up the practice of medicine to write poetry. All right, ladies and gentlemen. From Ode on a Grecian Urn. O Attic shape, fair attitude, with breed of marble men and maidens overwrought, with forest branches and trodden weed, thou silent form dost tease us of thought. Dost tease us out of thought, as doth eternity cold pastoral. When old age shall this generation waste, thou shalt remain in midst of other woe. Then ours, a friend to man, to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth, beauty. That is all ye know on earth, and all ye need to know. Those poems, they have like a, it's almost like music. They have a rhythm to them that you try to get into there. That's really a powerful one there. The trodden weed, tease us out of thought, as doth eternity cold pastoral. When old age shall this generation waste, thou shalt remain in midst of other woe. What do you think he's talking about there, ladies and gentlemen? A friend to man, to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth, beauty. That is all ye know on earth and all ye need to know. All right, let's go into Dr. Dyer's writings here and see what he has to say about truth and beauty in John Keats's beautiful poetry. There is something in the universe that outlasts our individual mortal life. Whatever that something is perplexes all of us. And young John Keats wrote about it poetically in his famous Ode on a Grecian Urn. As the poet contemplated the figures of the lovers on the Greek urn, he himself was grappling with mortality. His brother had recently died in his early 20s, and he struggled with his own ill health, which claimed his life the following year at the age of only 26. It's amazing, some of these well-respected, even in any area of art throughout history, it's always like the most talented individuals are taken so young. It's fascinating. All right, let me get back to it. This poetic selection is the fifth and final stanza of Ode on a Grecian Urn. It concludes with two lines that summarize an approach to living that is transcendent and speaks to your own source of true happiness. I think about the measure in Keats' poem every day when I look outside the window of my office. 2 months ago, Wayne Dyer is saying, his son and him cleaned out a wooded area in front of the townhouse where he does his writing. They clipped the bushes and chopped down dead trees and gave quite a drastic haircut to the entranceway. Right in the front of the window, they left what appeared to be a dead, thin tree trunk with discolored bark standing about 3 feet high. He said they decided to dig it out the following day since they didn't have a shovel handy, but one thing led to another, and I had to leave town on a lecture tour, and we ignored the dead stick in the ground. And when he returned, Wayne Dyer noticed some green leaves sprouting from this dried up protrusion, and he decided to forego the shovel. I'll add, I have my own personal experience of that kind of story. There was little, probably 3 feet tall, 3 to 4 feet, little trees that were trying to grow right next to the yard in the garden. And you know how people feel about that sometimes. I was going to leave it, but so I got whacked off, literally cut off at like the bottom where I was only this tall. Like 4 weeks later, there were shoots of stems coming out the side of this little thing, stub coming out of the ground that had been whacked off, no chance for life. And you see these shoots coming up with little branches and leaves starting to come off on multiple sides. So it's fascinating how things can you can try to kill it, but sometimes things just keep on growing. Today, Wayne Dyer continues, as he looks out his window, there are thousands of buds, green branches, and leaves covering the top of the dead stick in the ground. It is a beautiful sight to see the life force. That's the key thing to get out of these ideas right now, is the life force invisible to our eye is the eternity that Keats refers to when he writes, "When old age shall this generation waste." Interesting take. "Thou shalt remain in midst of other woe." And yes, this thou, which is what I was asking back in the beginning, who's the thou, is a friend to all of us who says, beauty is truth, and truth beauty. That is all ye know on earth and all you need to know. The life force that seemed to bring that dead stick to life is what we call truth, what we can call truth. It simply is. Now, each of us can view this truth and all the truths that eternity managed to manifest for us in any way we decide to choose. What John Keats suggests is that we elect to identify beauty with truth and truth with beauty. Period. He could have said boom right there. That's a boom. Beauty is in that silent form, which is eternal and which is our truth. To recognize this thou as a gift of beauty is to make peace with one's entire life. This is a deep one. I'm going to have to come back and listen to this again. Throughout history, poets, philosophers, and scientists have equated beauty with the peacefulness of a fully realized life. The ability to appreciate beauty is a high-level characteristic in the fully functioning person. Dr. Abraham Maslow studied all of that, and Maslow was the original pioneer in studying man's potential for greatness. If you've never heard of Dr. Abraham Maslow, you should do a quick overstudy, quick little Google search. If you're getting value, smash the like button, leave me a comment below, and let me know what you think. The original pioneer in studying this potential for greatness, he identified specific traits that were unique to these highly functioning people that he called self-actualizers. And I think that's something that I'm so fascinated with, is that there is this unique, put it so perfect there, there's this unique group of people out in life and in the world, and you'll see them and they're successful, but they do it easily. And it's like they're not trying really hard, but things just happen to work out for them. And I think, as Dr. Maslow did, and many people do, that it's not just random chance and luck, like most people want to call it. It's what he wrote right there is in studying this potential for greatness that he identified were specific traits that are unique to these highly functioning people he called self-actualizers. And I think When he says unique there, I would like to elaborate my own thoughts and say, in my opinion, there is a working, practical, applicable science of these kinds of individuals that once we study, we can figure out how to become this unique way. And, this also goes into spirituality and some of the thoughts on the way, right way of living, right? All these things. And then you begin to come in tune with that truth that is being equated to beauty, or the beauty that is being equated to that truth that is the invisible reality that we try to connect to. Maslow called this peaceful state of awareness self-actualization. Perhaps what he was describing was a unique kinship with truth. Emerson, it's another great person to look up, Ralph Waldo Emerson, described beauty as God's handwriting, a wayside sacrament, and urged us all to never lose an opportunity of seeing anything that is beautiful. And see, that for me goes back to the most ancient teachings. And it's like that God is creation, and you have to know that. And then when you know that, you look at creation and you appreciate it. And that was one way of looking at it. Many people will say, well, you look at creation and how the heck can I appreciate that? And I would say, you're not seeing the truth. You're not seeing the beauty. Need a little blues rhythm right there, felt like. All right. God's handwriting, anything that is beautiful. Keats seems to go a step beyond merely appreciating beauty. He speaks of equating beauty with truth. Yeah. So what is your truth? Wow, that's a powerful question. I don't know if I've ever heard Wayne Dyer state that in any of his speeches, but here he has, right, in his book. So what is your truth? Question mark. First and most important, your truth is what is real for you. And what is real is what your experience with emotion or feeling. What you experience with emotion or feeling. Thus, if you feel it, know it, and experience it, it is more than true. It is a beauty made manifest. Fascinating. That little segment there could be its own philosophy and video. What is truth? What is beauty? That's what we'll title this video. All right. Hopefully I can remember that by the time I'm done with this and doing the title and stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what is truth and what is beauty? Thus, if you feel it, know it, and experience it, then it is more than true. It is beauty made manifest. Your feelings of accomplishment are true and beautiful. Your appreciation of a loved one is true and beautiful. Your inspirations are true and beautiful, and thus beautiful. This invisible eternal spark of life that Keats says is a friend to man is providing you with your truth, and therefore with beauty, and I'll add your beauty as well, should you choose to process it in this manner. See, I was just thinking of the phrase, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, or, you see what you're looking for. Every time I look at what I thought was a dead tree stump, was so perfect. Wayne Dyer continues. Every time I look at what I thought was a dead tree stump, out of my office window, and I see that the life force expressing itself with beautiful green shoots, branches, and leaves, and this new growth. He thinks of the same life force that flows through himself and flows through me and flows through all of us. It is my truth I am sharing, this eternal life force with that stick in the ground, as Wayne Dyer says, and when my generation is turned to waste, the life force remains in the midst of those who will take my place. That was pure poetry. Great job, Dr. Dyer. Let's read that line there again. And it is my truth I am sharing with this eternal life force, with that stick in the ground. And when my generation is turned to waste, the life force remains in the midst of all of those who will take my place. It is such a divine mystery, yet it is our truth, and consequently I choose to call it beautiful. In my heart, I know that if we paved the entire surface of the planet, that thou, that Keats refers to, would cause a blade of grass to shoot up through the pavement. The eternal thou would spring up once again and bloom in beauty. It cannot be stopped. And that is the truth. It is also your truth, to paraphrase Keats, that on earth is all ye need to know. This is an amazing chapter here. I'm going to skip the last two paragraphs. No, I've done that in other videos. Let's just go ahead and put this whole one into the video because this is a great one. All right, here we go. When a heart opens up to the experience of truth as beauty, one of mankind's most troublesome enigmas, death, is solved. This is powerful, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're really getting something out of this. Are you picking up what's being put down here? Here is John Keats, racked with tuberculosis in his early 20s, facing the fact that his body will soon give up, yet opening to the beauty of the truth of life. See, he had reasons to not look at the beauty and not see what he's describing here as the truth. To go beyond that which we see as negative to the full realization of the ephemeral, transitorial nature of reality. You know, things are always changing. In another way to say it, it's like these ideas are powerful. He's racked with, so he had reasons, racked with tuberculosis, facing the fact that his body will soon give up, yet opening to the beauty of the truth of life. Can you do it? Can we do it? That's our challenge, ladies and gentlemen, to come to know through our own contemplation practices, to look and, you know, see nature with new eyes. Can we do this? Let me continue here. Wayne Dyer continues. See beauty in every place that you feel truth. That beauty / truth will imbue you. And I'll add, it will fill you up. All right, know yourself. Gosh, this has got like all the great sayings in it. Know yourself and think about that and what it means every day. And live your truth and you will have beauty, ladies and gentlemen. Wayne Dyer is kicking ass here today. Forgive my French there. It seems to me that in these enduring lines of poetry, and I will say writing, John Keats was telling each of us to know our truth. Poetry and literature. There we go. He was telling each of us to know our truth, to follow our hearts, and we will see beauty everywhere. To do otherwise is to lose our ability to appreciate and experience the ecstasy of life. And is the ecstasy of life, ladies and gentlemen, something that you want to deprive yourself of the ability to appreciate? I did a video a long time ago about depreciating or appreciating your life. It reminds me of that. All right, let's, on the last page here, that same invisible ecstasy that somehow manages to put life into a seed, a roost, a root, a blossom, and even you and me, and all of us sitting here listening or watching this video, or me reading right now. Make this poetic observation, Wayne Dyer says, bloom beautifully in your life by practicing the following suggestions. And this is the greatest thing about his literature and his writings, is he always gives us practical application, rubber meets the road, meat and potatoes suggestions, ladies and gentlemen. So he goes, number one, examine what is most true for you. Where does your own personal truth reside? When do you feel inspired and fulfilled? What provides you with the most inner satisfaction? Your answers are the thou, that is the eternal life space within you, and the beauty that it engenders is the authentic you. Number two, trust in your own assessment of what is beauty and truth. Practice your own truth by being independent of the opinion of others. One of the number one rules of becoming a self-actualizing individual, which was we were talking about a little bit earlier in this reading today here. Becoming independent of the opinions of others. If you feel inspired and it resonates as your inner ecstasy, or maybe joy, pure joy is another way to describe, if it resonates as your inner ecstasy, then it is true and therefore beautiful as well. Powerful. Number three, let go of judgments. These are the best. This chapter, I think, is one of the best that I've read yet. And it's just a few pages. It has like all the great teachings of life. Maybe except for like the magical and mystical manifesting teachings, workings of, all right. But number three, let go of the judgments that classify the pursuits and interests of others as ugly, inappropriate, inauthentic, or any of these other kinds of descriptors. Stay within your truth and allow others the right to be free of your acrimonious judgments. Practice beauty appreciation in as many places as possible. Nature provides a virtual smorgasbord of miracles. See the beauty in all of it. Look for the divine invisible, thou, that you know to be eternal, springing up everywhere. Capture it with your heart. If it is true, then it is beauty. Keep this thought in mind and refuse to use your mental energy to see it otherwise. Wow. Wow. Boom. Take a moment to meditate on that one. That's powerful, ladies and gentlemen. And come to know who you are. Examine what is most true for you, and come to know what is true for you. Your answers is that eternal life space from within you that creates the inspiration, the fulfillment, the satisfaction, the desire, the hopes, the dreams. I'm just kind of paraphrasing, trying to re-describe some of these sentiments here. That is that eternal life space within you, and the beauty that engenders it is the authentic you. See, this way to know the truth through the beauty, or through the love, the feelings that may be the top of the scale of consciousness when it comes to the David Hawkins scale of consciousness, and letting go of the judgments that classify our pursuits and interests. So kind of, stop classifying. That was just, I'm going to stop rambling here before I ruin the real truth and beauty of this reading here today from Dr. Dyer and my elaborations talking about John Keats' final stanza from one of his last poems, if not the final stanza. This poetic selection is the fifth and final stanza of Ode on a Grecian Urn. Concludes with two lines that summarize an approach to living that is transcendent and speaks to our own source of true happiness, truth, and beauty, ladies and gentlemen. Let's read those last two lines again. Beauty is truth. Truth, beauty. That is all ye know on earth and all ye need to know. Well, next Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. If you want a copy of this book, check the description below. I've got the link there. Hopefully that supports the author or his family, because, you know, I'd like to support Wayne Dyer's family however I could through all the inspiration that he's given to me in my life. And it is an affiliate link, so it'll probably give me like 10 cents if you actually buy something. So that'll help me. But no, I really, you know, not everybody knows these things exist. And not everybody has the interest or the time to dig into what we just digged into, 86 pages into the middle of the book. And maybe that's the thing that really changes somebody's life. And so somebody said something great one time. It's like, it's in those 4-hour-long podcasts you listen to, it's like 2 hours and 46 minutes in is the life-changing moment that's only 1 minute long. And it's just like that in these things. And so it's good to have physical copies that you can go back to and reference, ladies and gentlemen. And if you also like to own one of my landscape paintings, you can check out my Etsy shop. I have that link below. They're also on eBay. Just started trying that out. It's weird. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll be back in the future with more Tao on Tuesdays and Wednesday Wisdom of the Ages. And we're going to start continuing Matt Belair's Zen Athlete, Zen Life, and, you know, some of my own notes and thoughts and things that I come up with. It's all really fascinating, and I love continuing to learn every day, and I hope you do, and I hope inspiration flows into your life and we can be in spirit. Boom. All right, love you, ladies and gentlemen. Be back in the future. Stay good.